Hi, welcome back to the Tarot Genie, where you receive intuitive, insightful answers to the tarot to your burning questions about business, career, entrepreneurship, personal development, spirituality, and more. Hi, I'm Laura, and today we're going to ask the tarot to tackle the question of how do you trust your instincts? In other words, how do you trust your intuitive capabilities in business, career, and in your personal life? Intuition is highly important, and it really is an asset. You need your logic, but you also need to balance it with your intuitive instincts and intuitive knowing. And as always, while I'm shuffling the cards, I will present you with my Book of the Week recommendation, Trust Your Vibes, by one of the tip-top experts on intuition, Sonia Choquette. She has written, I think, over 20 books by now, and I had the great fortune of training with her back in 2014 outside of Chicago, where she was living at the time. And it was a 2-day intensive workshop on intuition. Actually, it was 3 days. It was 2.5 days on intuition. But trusting your vibes, trusting your instincts is the focus of today's question, because it really can be a lifesaver in many occasions, and it can relieve you of a lot of stress when it's just not necessary. For example, years ago, before I was really systematically thinking about using my intuition, I was called in for an interview for a federal government job, and I had applied weeks before, did not think I'd be called in. However, I was called in and I had to go in that very day for the interview. And what happened was, well, I thought, I have no time to prepare, so I'm just going to trust myself. I'll just do the best I can, if it means winging it or whatever. But I did have a little voice that right before I left to go downtown for the interview, a little voice peeped in my ear, or not peeped, spoke in my ear and said, now why not throw in a writing sample for that to bring along? So I did that, followed the advice of my intuition, that little voice, and the interview went very well, even though I wasn't prepared. And toward the end, I was asked if I happened to have a writing sample, which I did. I took it out of my briefcase, plopped it on the table, and guess what? The particular subject of that paper that I had done in graduate school was exactly the same as a project they were working on at the time, a big study. So I was hired for the job, and that's just one little example of listening to your intuition. And basically it does take a lot of practice. But we are going to ask the tarot today the question of how to trust your instincts from 3 angles: the situation, what insights you need to be aware of right now in approaching how to develop this capability, to trusting your instincts, really knowing that you can believe in it. Number 2, the second card will reflect what you may not be aware of that you need to know. Maybe there are hidden blocks or some belief systems that may be hampering you and preventing you from trusting your instincts. And finally, the third card will represent the actions, suggested actions you could take to move forward in being able to truly trust your intuition, your instincts. Shuffle a little bit longer this question, how can you best develop or trust your instincts, your intuition? All right, I'm going to lay out the cards now. Card number 1, dealing with what you need to know in this moment about the situation of what insights, what angles do you need to consider when going about trusting your intuition, your instincts. Wow, I love this card, the Star, one of my favorites. See it, pull it back there, now you can see it better. The Star card is a Major Arcana card. It's number 17 in the Major Arcana. A 17 actually drills down to an 8, so it's a card of power, I would say. What's most striking about this image, the Star, is that it's a beautiful scene in nature. You see this nude maiden, and nude representing her vulnerability, her total openness, and also sense of spirit of giving. She's pouring water into the water and also onto the earth. Now, how does this relate to trusting your instincts? Well, one other thing too I want to point out, all these stars. Well, stars represent, of course, illumination. And we have the major star here as well. So right off the bat, it seems to me that what this image, this card, the star is suggesting to you, if you want to develop your instincts or trust your instincts, trust your intuition, develop your intuition, is you need to come from a place of complete openness and vulnerability, and being willing to just let go of just the hardened, hardcore logical side of your brain. And also, I believe that this image suggests as well is to be alert to your environment, to take in the beauty of nature. I say that a lot, I know, in my readings, but it is true. It is important. And also what's important is that the foundation of the purpose behind trusting your instincts is to be from a place of giving the most of yourself in whatever situation you may find yourself in. That is a key, those are key factors in trusting your instinct, coming from a place of openness, vulnerability, being totally open because she's nude, and giving forth, pouring life, pouring your feelings into something. And also, yes, feelings are important in the intuitive realm. They are critical. So those are the first pieces of advice that I believe the star card is giving you. Now, the second card represents what you need to know that you may not be aware of in thinking about developing a trust in your instincts. And here we have the Nine of Cups reversed. The Nine of Cups is often referred to as the wish card or the card of abundance. When we look at it upright, we see this man, this merchant, who looks a bit smug. He seems to be quite proud of himself and the accumulation of cups that he has in the back of him, behind him. We also, it's interesting, if you look at the colors, similar themes or similar colors. We've got blues and yellows, similar blues and hues of blue and yellow. And of course, the yellow for me is illumination. What this suggests to me, the Nine of Cups reversed and cups again relating to feelings and flow, is that perhaps there's an area, since this is reversed, that you may not be fully tapping into your feelings, fully allowing them to flow. You need to develop that sensitivity and coming from the heart. And this person, especially when it's reversed, does not look like he's really coming from the heart too much, given that he has this smug expression on his face, although he does have passion there. It's that smugness. I believe it's saying, to really focus on coming from the heart rather than any kind of ideas of being better than or sense of achievement, just that sense of smugness. Some more may come to me when we look at the other card, but I believe the situation, this card in reflecting the situation that you need to be aware of is identify areas in which you may not be fully allowing your feelings to fully tap your feelings and to allow them to fully flow outward. This individual almost looks like he's self-contained, he's holding on to himself, he's not letting things flow out. He's kind of, it appears to be, it's almost like the miser, he's not letting an outflow of things. So think about, in trusting your instincts, are you fully open and are you fully allowing your feelings to flow and being attuned to all that's around you and awareness of things? Or are you closed off in some way? Because if you're closed off, you're not going to be able to trust your instincts. They've got to be open, got to pour the water in, turn on the spigots of feelings and emotions. And finally, action, a suggested action that you could take to fully trust your instincts. Wow, this is a dramatic card, the Tower card reversed. We've got two major arcana. So this reading is bookended by two major arcana cards. Let's get away from the reflection. Two major arcana cards. And what the Tower, people often just balk at seeing this particular image because it looks so dramatic. You know, these people are being hurled out of this building turret, and there's lightning striking, and it just looks like complete calamity. But what I believe is this image is advising you today in terms of learning to trust your instincts is to throw out any limiting beliefs you've had in the past. Throw out past trials into any negativity, any hesitation, any doubts you've had about your intuition. You've got to just toss it all out and start anew, build a new foundation. And one way of a new foundation is being alert, tapping into your feelings, allowing them to flow, and just going with the flow. That's how you develop your intuition. It's also, I feel, the powers of observation. One of my favorite fictional characters is Sherlock Holmes. And he was always, not only did he look about him, he was just so intensely perceptive. And what I feel the Tower card is suggesting, the action to take, is that if you've not fully trusted your instincts up to this point, is to just toss out your old ways of thinking and of being that may have stymied you from fully trusting your instincts. In conclusion, the Star card advises you to be open, vulnerable, allow your feelings to flow. The Nine of Cups reversed basically echoes that and saying, think about areas which you're just kind of blocking yourself from that and just letting that go, releasing that. And the Tower reversed advises you to just toss out anything that has not served you. Maybe regroup and build a completely different approach to trusting your instincts and the way you go about making decisions. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Also, this week's recommended piece of music is one of my favorites. Now, I know I'm dating myself once again, but I can't help it. This song is so appropriate. It's called The Voice. And if you look at the lyrics, and it's by the Moody Blues, and I will include the link here. But the lyrics of The Voice do talk about listening to the voice, trusting your instincts, trusting your intuition. And it's just beautiful music as well. So I will put a link up for that music video, which I recommend that you watch over the next 7 days. In fact, the reason why I include music, is I think it's so vital in helping us to heal past wounds, and not only to heal, but to energize, motivate, and inspire us. So for me, music is, well, it's just ingrained in my life. So that is why I like to include a musical recommendation every single week. Next week, we will be tackling the subject of how do you discover your zone of genius? Illumine your mind, inspire your life with the tarot. Until next time.